Hey Roosters, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the new news we got for the Godzilla card game by Bushiroad. So, if you guys don't know, Bushiroad about last year sometime, maybe exactly a year ago, getting close to it at least, we got, I believe it was announced in October of last year, I believe, that we were going to be getting this year a Godzilla card game. And so far, I've been doing my best to keep up with all the news and all the updates, but I do want to say that if there's anything I've missed in this video, from the last video I made, go watch it by the way, in this video, if there's anything I missed, I'd like to know in the comment section, because I've been doing my best trying to scour for any information I can about the game, but it doesn't seem like there's much. And what there is most likely directed, or is mostly directed towards the Japanese side of the game. As far as I know, the game's still getting an international simultaneous release with English and Japanese. But that doesn't mean that the company isn't a Japanese company, and they're going to mostly promote the game or talk about the game and give news about the game through Japanese means. Which brings me back to my second point of the video, which is that a lot of this, everything you're seeing on the screen right now is going to be Google translated from Japanese to English, which means, of course, there's going to be some language mess ups here and there because Google Translate isn't perfect, although it does a pretty good job for the most part. It isn't perfect, and then, of course, you always have to remember that things might change strictly just because they're changing them from Japanese to English. So anything that, even if it exactly reads that way in Japanese and Google Translate did a good job, release dates, prices, names of sets, and cards might change between Japanese and English, and I want to point that out in this video in case anything ends up not being true the way it's read in the video. That being said, there isn't much to go over, but it's some pretty exciting news, and news that we've kind of been waiting for quite a bit now. So that being said, we're going to just hop right into it. So I'm going to read through this for the most part. Again, Google translated, so bear with me. Summary of the announcements at Bushiroad's TCG strategy presentation in 2025, the summer presentation. So Bushiroad always does these presentations. For the most part, Godzilla has been just getting a mention in each of these presentations since its original announcement. It hasn't been getting much information. This is the first time we've got some. This is first time in a long time, I believe, that we got some big information about the game. I'll leave a link to the video in the comment section in the description, but I do want to point out that the information pertaining to Godzilla in that video is all going to be here for the most part. So you don't have to go watch that video if you don't want to, unless, of course, I somehow missed something, and so did this website. So, at the strategy meeting, they talked about the Godzilla card game. They generally talked about the base stuff we already know about the game. 2 starter decks coming out with the first release, and 1 booster set. The booster set's actually been pretty small. The way the game works is that you pick a color and neutral cards, and you build your deck with that one color. You get a 50-card deck and a 4-card monster deck. You try to move your monster through spaces on the field, get to the other opponent's other side, or die trying. If you successfully get to your opponent's base, then you win, and if you die trying, then you lose. And those are the 2 ways the game ends. You use battle cards, which are essentially like character creature cards to stop your opponent. Your monster card is kind of like your leader. You have tactic cards, which that are sideways that you can actually play into your tactic area. I believe you can have like 2 in the field or 2 a turn or something like that. From what I can say, again, the rules aren't completely out yet, which I'll talk about later. And that's essentially the game. There's also rage cards, which we'll talk about just a little bit in a little bit. We'll talk about them a little bit and in a little bit. What is the importance of this screen what I have on the screen right now? And that is product release on Saturday, July 5th. If you don't know, for the most part, I believe, and unless I'm missing something, for the longest time we've been going off the idea that the game was going to be released July 12th, I believe, or July 11th, or sometime around that time, Friday or Saturday, the week after this. So it seems like it had been brought back a week, unless this was always the plan. I somehow missed something, and those other dates were placeholders always. It seems like the release of the game has actually been brought back. That, I believe, is usually a good thing. It means that things are falling into place better than they originally thought that they might. They were, of course, maybe the game was always probably going to be ready by July, but they can't say July because if it's not ready by July, then that's going to cause problems. So we're going to say July 12th. Well, now the game seems like it's going to be ready July, or is already ready for release July 5th, so they're pushing it back. That's what I believe this is telling us, unless, of course, I'm missing something and it was always July 5th. New release date, perfect. Again, this could just be for the Japanese version of the game and not for the English release. We might still get our English stuff the week after, which wouldn't be a big deal. It'd be pretty close to a simultaneous release, all things considered. But if you're going to release the Japanese version July 5th, I don't see why you would really wait one more week to release the English version. We're getting 2 starter decks, like I said earlier. Godzilla -1, which is going to be the red starter deck, and Heisei Versus, which is going to be the blue starter deck, as well as a booster set release called Godzilla vs. Godzilla, featuring red and blue cards, the 2 factions that exist in set 1, as well as white cards for any deck to use. Anger cards are essentially tokens from as far as I can tell. They could, of course, be resource cards like Don's from One Piece, but as far as everything that we've been told so far, Anger very much seems to be a token card. So they're tokens with posters on them. So they use posters from over 9 different Godzilla movies and Godzilla properties, with 21 different poster designs being maybe included in set 2 to 4. Now, this pretty much confirms, as far as I can tell, that we're going to be getting a set 3 and 4, which we didn't know previously. If you didn't watch my previous videos, then you wouldn't maybe know that we were also getting a set 2, which was confirmed, and even a release date has been set. But now we do know that we seem to be getting a set 3 and 4. Again, the sets are really small, so assuming that we're going to get multiple sets, or they have multiple sets designed and in the pipeline, isn't far-fetched. So it's not like, oh, sweat, they're already going to release a 4th set. They must be really competent in the game. It could just be planned sets, and then also you have to take into fact that even if they have sets designed, if the game doesn't do well, they're not going to get those sets anyway. So let's just hope it does well, and we get to this planned 4th and 3rd set. But anyway, back to Rage cards. Rage cards seem to be token cards, like from other games, like experience tokens from Star Wars Unlimited. They're going to probably be outside of the game that you put onto your field when certain effects tell you to, and it will give you a power boost for your monster. So if you see at the bottom of almost every token card, I believe, there's a little plus 500, 5,000, which seems like a power boost that your character will get, which is why it could be, a lot of people are comparing it to Dawn in discussion, but being the fact that every starter deck only comes with 6 of these Rage cards, it very much seems like they're going to be tokens that you will play onto your monster due to various effects, and gain a permanent or even a temporary power boost for the turn. So another piece of information we got is that we're going to get this really rare super 100 copies only got signed card by the director of Godzilla 1, Takashi Yamazaki. And it's really not a big deal. Card game's going to have rare cards. You can expect that to be coming. This is where things get more interesting. We get a little bit more information about the second booster set that's going to be coming out. Again, if you watch my previous videos, if you've been subscribed, notification bells rung, you would know that we already know we're getting a second booster set. And as I said in my last video, we're actually can assume some things about it based off what we know about the first set. Well, this kind of hints more into those directions and gives us some more basic information. The second booster pack, the Great Monster Battle of Counterattack G, is scheduled for release on October 4th. Now, I believe October 4th was a date we actually already knew, but what we didn't know was the name of this set, the Great Monster Battle of Counterattack G. Now, in English, that's nonsense, and that wouldn't make sense. It doesn't seem like that's what it's going to be called in English. Now, again, remember, Google Translate. We could be not even looking at what it says in Japanese, but it's a very weird name for a set. What is the importance of this name, though? Because, again, I assume it's going to change, and I don't even assume that's what it's called and means in Japanese, what these words are saying, right? So what's the importance? The G is the importance. If you look at the picture on the screen, the G is green. Now, also, 2 things you want to know about this. G is the first letter in some prominent Godzilla characters, mainly Ghidorah, which I don't think is probably going to be featured in this first set, though I don't know. Ghidorah is a really big character, and being able to play him as a monster would be a logical step forward. If you can't already do it in set 1, it would be logical that you'd be able to do it in set 2. So that could be what the G is standing for. The color, of course, hints at the fact that we're going to get a new color in set 2. Set 1 we have red and blue. Set 2 we're probably going to get green. G, they use the English letter G, and G is the first letter of the color green. So literally all it could be representing or hinting at is the fact that we're going to be getting the green color in set 2. I think I said in my previous video about when I talked about, or whatever video I did talking about, oh wow, we're going to get a second set, I assume that green is what color we're going to get. Green is the 3rd most popular color in trading card games right after blue and red. So getting green would make the most sense, and it very much seems like that's what we're going to be getting in set 2 here. And that's cool. Again, can't wait to see what it's going to look like. Obviously, probably going to have different playstyle from red and blue. Hopefully, we get some more unique, cool monster cards and interactions. Obviously, I don't know what the first set even looks like, so it's very limited amount of stuff I can be excited about, but this is one of them. This is another promotional thing, I believe. I believe set 2 says it's going to include cards from the TV anime Chibi Godzilla Strikes Back with signed cards from the cast members. I don't think this is something we have in America, unless I missed an update. So this is probably going to be mostly for the Japanese audience, but I wouldn't be surprised if we still got these cards, whether it be promotions or just cards in the actual set, in the English release of the game, because why wouldn't you? And this is the last big piece of information for the video, and that is we're going to be getting a complete how to play or gameplay video on the date of July 28th, which I believe is a Saturday. So it's about a week or so before the release of the set, which is now July 5th. So on June 28th, not July, we're going to be delivered information on the second booster set, as well as hands-on gameplay of Godzilla just before its release. Now, we've been waiting on a complete how to play for a long, long time, and it seems like I figured we would get it a lot earlier than this, but now we're finally seeming to be able to get turn structure, how you pay costs, how battle is actually done, how deck building might look, and all this stuff about the first set, as well as information about the second set, probably revealing what characters or monsters we can expect, as well as what colors or color, probably just one, we're going to end up getting within it. And to finish off the news roundup, there's some stuff about events and tournaments. If you're not interested in that stuff, as I'm not right now, obviously I'm just waiting to get some cards in hand, you can go check up on this yourself if you are interested, but if you're not, I'm not going to bother reading it, because I believe for the most part it doesn't pertain to even America or anywhere outside of Japan for the most part. So for a lot of us, that's really not something that we're going to even be able to interact with. And if you are going to be able to interact with it, then I'm pretty sure you can do your own research. But that's going to be it for today's video. Again, can't wait for the game. Can't wait for set 2. Can't wait to see what it's going to look like, which is a really big. So join us. June 28th, Saturday. They're going to be talking about the rules, it seems, and they're going to be talking about set 2. And I'm going to be there probably the day after or the 2 days later, rounding it all up, Google translating it up, and spitting out in an English format for us to enjoy and hopefully understand. But it's really exciting, and I hope to see you guys there. Can't wait.